Hey friends, welcome to Story Orchard. Here, stories are not just for fun, they also make your English reading and listening better. Let's dive right into today's story. Marriage. People often describe it as the union of two souls, a bond built on love, trust, and commitment. But what happens when one of those pillars starts to shake? When love is there, but trust becomes fragile like glass ready to crack at. The smallest touch. That's the story of Mira and Arjun. A couple that looked perfect to the outside world. A couple that everyone envied. But behind their smiling pictures and carefully curated appearances, there was a silent war brewing. Mira loved Arjun deeply. She had left her city, her career, and her dreams behind to build a life with him. She poured herself into the marriage, into making the house a home, and into being the kind of wife society praises. But slowly she noticed something unsettling. Arjun's phone calls at odd hours. The way his eyes lit up when he read certain texts. The casual mention of a female colleague's name too often. At first, she brushed it off. She told herself she was overthinking. After all, jealousy is ugly, isn't it? But the thought wouldn't leave her mind. The seed of doubt had been planted. And once doubt enters a marriage, it grows like a wild vine. Mira found herself checking his phone when he showered, scanning his clothes for traces of perfume, observing his body language when he returned home late, and with every small clue, whether real or imagined, her jealousy grew stronger. Arjun, on the other hand, had no idea what storm was rising inside his wife's heart. He loved Mira, but he also loved his freedom. He enjoyed conversations with people at work. He laughed openly, made friends, and sometimes stayed back late. For him, it was normal. For Mira, it was betrayal waiting to explode. One evening, as they sat for dinner, Arjun casually mentioned that he would be going on an out-of-town business trip with his team. Mira's heart skipped a beat. She tried to smile, but her hands trembled as she served the food. "Who's going with you?" she asked, her tone sharp even though she tried to hide it. Arjun replied casually, the usual team. Raghav, Samir, and Ananya. The moment that name rolled off his tongue, Mira's mind froze. Ananya, the same colleague he often mentioned. The one who laughed at his jokes. The one who sometimes called late at night for work. That night, Mira lay awake in bed while Arjun slept peacefully. Every sound of his breath felt like a betrayal. Her mind created scenarios that tore her apart. She pictured them laughing together on the trip, sitting close during meetings, whispering secrets she would never hear. And with every passing minute, her anger boiled hotter. By morning, she had made a decision. She would not let this continue silently. She confronted Arjun as he sipped his tea, saying, "Why don't you just admit it? You enjoy her company more than mine, don't you?" Arjun looked shocked. He set his cup down, his eyes wide. "What are you talking about, Mira?" he asked calmly, but calmness only fueled her fire. "Don't lie to me. I see how you talk about her. How your face changes when you mention her name," she accused, tears already welling up in her eyes. Arjun sighed heavily. "Mira, she's just a colleague. You're imagining things. Why don't you trust me?" But Mira's heart wasn't ready to believe. Trust once broken, even slightly, doesn't repair with simple words. This argument marked the beginning of constant battles in their marriage. Every trip, every call, every message turned into a weapon of war. Arjun started feeling suffocated by her questions. Mira, on the other hand, felt ignored, unloved, and sidelined. Days turned into weeks, and their once warm home grew cold with silence. Friends noticed the change, but both covered it up with fake smiles. Yet inside their four walls, love had started transforming into bitterness. The real turning point came during Arjun's birthday party. Their house was filled with laughter, friends, and family, Everyone celebrated joyfully, and then Ananya walked in with a gift, a small, beautifully wrapped box with a handwritten card. Arjun's eyes lit up in genuine surprise and happiness, but to Mira, that look was the final nail in the coffin. She felt invisible, forgotten, replaced. That night, once the guests left, Mira exploded. She shouted, cried, and hurled accusations. That burned like fire. Arjun shouted back, hurt and frustrated. The walls of their home echoed with anger. Mira screamed, "If she means so much to you, why don't you go live with her?" Arjun, exhausted, replied, "Maybe I would have more." "Peace if I did." And silence followed, heavy, dangerous silence. Mira's jealousy had now consumed her completely. She stopped eating properly. She couldn't sleep. She even started secretly following Arjun after work just to confirm her doubts. Each time she found nothing instead of relief, she felt more anger, thinking he was only better at hiding it. Her world had shrunk into suspicion and rage. And as she spiraled deeper, she began to wonder, was she losing him because of Ananya? Or was she losing him because of herself? The line between truth and imagination blurred, and with every blurred moment, her marriage slipped further away. This was only the beginning. The story of the jealous wife was about to take a darker, more painful turn. Mira stood by the window one rainy evening, staring at the drops sliding down the glass. The storm outside reflected the storm inside her heart. She thought of all the times Arjun had once held her close, whispered promises of forever, and laughed with her over the smallest things. Where had all that gone? When had love turned into a battlefield of suspicion and anger? Arjun returned home. Late that night, his shirt was damp, his hair messy. Mira immediately asked, "Where were you?" Her voice was sharp, trembling. Arjun threw his bag on the couch and snapped, "I was working, Mira. I'm tired of explaining myself every single day." His tone was harsh, filled with exhaustion. That broke something in Mira. She whispered, "You don't love me anymore, do you?" Her eyes begged for reassurance. But Arjun, drained from constant fights, said nothing. And silence, once again, became an answer louder than words. In her loneliness, Mira began pouring her heart into a diary. Page after page, she wrote about her jealousy, her pain, and her fear of losing him. She confessed things she couldn't say aloud. That diary became her only friend, her only listener. Yet even as she wrote, she knew the ink of her words could not heal the wounds growing between them. One weekend, Arjun announced he had to attend a company conference. Mira's chest tightened. "And she be there too, won't she?" She asked bitterly. Arjun rubbed his temples. "I can't live like this, Mira. Every day you punish me for something I haven't even done," he shouted. The room fell into heavy silence again, but this time, the silence was followed by something scarier: distance. Arjun started spending more nights away, sometimes staying with friends after fights just to avoid her accusations. Mira's world shattered. She felt abandoned, unloved, and betrayed, even though she had no proof of betrayal at all. The monster of jealousy had eaten away her happiness. Then came the breaking point. One evening, Mira received a call from one of Arjun's colleagues. It was about a project, but hearing Ananya's voice on the other end was like poison. Mira lost control. She screamed into the phone, accusing her of trying to steal her husband. The next morning, Arjun found out what had happened. His face turned red with anger. "This is too much, Mira. You embarrass me in front of my colleagues. Do you even realize what you've done?" he shouted. Mira collapsed in tears. "I only did it because I'm scared of losing you," she sobbed, but Arjun's anger didn't soften. "You're losing me because you don't trust me, not because of her," he thundered. Those words pierced Mira's heart like a knife. For the first time, she saw the truth. It wasn't Ananya destroying her marriage. It was her own jealousy, her own insecurities, her own inability to trust. Days later, Arjun packed a small bag and left the house quietly. He needed space, time away. And Mira was left in the silence of their home, holding her diary, realizing she had pushed away the very person she loved most. Weeks passed. Mira finally looked in the mirror and admitted she had become someone she never wanted to be. A wife so consumed by fear that she destroyed her own happiness. She started therapy, joined a support group, and slowly began rebuilding herself. Months later, Arjun returned, not to move back in, but to talk. They sat in the same living room where they had once fought endlessly. This time, there was no shouting, no accusations, only raw honesty. Mira apologized sincerely. She admitted her jealousy, her mistakes, her fears. Arjun listened quietly, his eyes filled with pain, but also with a trace of the love they once shared. Their future was uncertain. Would they rebuild what they had lost, or would they go their separate ways? No one knew. But one thing was clear: Mira had learned the hardest lesson of her life. Jealousy doesn't protect love, it destroys it. And as she closed her diary that night, she wrote her final entry: I wanted to protect my marriage from another woman. But in the end, the only enemy was inside me, my own jealousy. Thanks for listening with Story Orchard. Share your thoughts below, hit subscribe, and let me know where you're watching from. I love reading your comments.